want to go public hearing first, we can.
Because we have two of them.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, everybody sit down. We're going to start over again. We'll start then with our public hearing for the FY26 budget amendment.
Yeah, so later in the meeting, we will make a recommendation to approve the budget. There's two things that we are always certifying. Total dollars spent, which will be $30,377,949. And then secondly, we approve the tax rate. On this document that's on the screen, and it's also linked, there's two tax rates, like usually sometimes we have three, but we have two this year. The former Algona and Laverne tax rate of $10.09, and then the former Titanca $11.27. The Department of Management blends those two together, so 1021 is what I talk about as our tax rate. Although no one will have a tax rate of $10.21. You'll either have a 1009 or 1127. But we talk about that blended rate of 1021 that we'll certify later on in the meeting.
All right. Any questions? We do this is a public meeting from anyone. All right, hearing none then, we will close the public meeting, and at this point, move on to the...
Yeah, and then we can go through and start.
All right, we'll ask everybody to stand, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. All right, looking at our agenda, we have a quorum here. I don't see any hearing of delegations, so we need to look to approve the agenda.
I'll make motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second it.
Did we get who said that? I might have missed that one.
Andrea
Okay,
beat me.
thank you, Andrea Lynn. Okay, all in favor to approve the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda approved. Communications to the board?
We got to get to our second public meeting.
Oh, well, it's not listed here. Well, I'll have to.
There was a whole separate meeting for the first hearing.
Oh.
Then there's the second meeting with the
Hearing for
amendment.
fiscal year 26 budget.
Yeah, that number 2 right there.
All righty, that's fine. We can go right to it. Yep, thank you. Go ahead.
So we'll need to approve a budget amendment for our current fiscal year. The increases in this budget result from insurance claims and the field house construction expenses. And we weren't for sure when the bulk of the payments for the field house would be paid out. And the budget was set up for payments to about FY25, but a lot of the expense was in FY26. So we'll increase our total sports services by $2.6 million, and we'll also increase our other expenditures that large, $18 million, which includes all the field house. So just a public hearing for that, and then we'll have a resolution for that budget amendment later on in the meeting.
Is that about the actual total cost of the field house, the 18.1?
No.
No.
The field house was 13.1, but there's more dollars in that because of that refinance of some of the existing debt. So we refinanced at 20 million total. The field house expense was 13.1.
And then the 2.678,
Insurance claims.
that are employees' health insurance claims.
Yes, since we're completely self-funded, it's a true claim actually instead of a premium.
Yep.
So,
So,
yeah.
Yeah, just
Yes.
increased usage.
So when individuals are sick and using healthcare dollars, we see an increased cost.
We do. And we have the side fund, which, we never want that to deplete very much. It is depleting more. And we had to make some changes in our health insurance because of that. So yeah, exactly what you see there is just increased insurance claims.
Good questions.
Not premium costs. These are our employees, because we're self-funded, are using it. So this is an uncontrolled cost
For sure.
for us.
Yeah, uncontrolled, yeah.
The premiums would come out of our general fund, and these claims are out of our, out of our
Yes.
Right.
insurance fund, yes.
Yep.
I just want to make clear so
Yep.
that people see that number and they say, well, gosh, look at all the expenses of the school going up.
Mhm.
That's completely out of our hands, taking care of our employees.
It is.
We need to use.
Yeah, completely out of our hands. The other one is the field house expenses, just in which fiscal year that they fell. And when we do create these expenditure amounts, like we will approve for FY '27, they're estimates. You know, that's what they are, so it's not a perfect science. We think we get close, but sometimes we do go over those estimates.
All right.
Okay.
Good questions. Any other questions? All right, hearing none, I guess we'll close this public hearing. And then we've already approved the agenda, so we'll move on then to the consent items. You should have received those in your packet earlier. Any updates that you'd like to say, Joe, before we?
In the financial report, as we usually do, we look at revenues versus expenses, which look really good in the district, as they have been. This sheet right here. So if you look at the end of March, our expenses in 25-26 are 14.4 compared to last year's expenses of 15.5. So we've spent about $1.1 million less year to date this year compared to last year, and our revenues are about 500,000. Again, as expected, our forecast has us operating in a deficit at the end of this year of about $400,000 to $500,000. So this looks a little bit better, at this month, but our month-to-month forecast is really, really accurate. We will deficit spend. This doesn't change that, but things look good right now.
All right, any questions on the consent items that you received and looked over? All right, hearing none, need a motion then to approve the consent items.
Motion to approve the consent items.
Thanks, Tom. Do we have a second? Thanks, Andrea. So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Consent items approved. We'll move on to your report then, Joe.
My report, I got two things. One is just an update on Senate File 2201. That's the school funding bill. So just a summary. It's passed. It's signed by the governor. It increases the state cost per pupil 2%. So what that means is the state cost per pupil increases to $8,148. It also did a few other things. It continues some property tax relief for this upcoming year. So that additional levy that we always talking about, that last 12.5%, that gets capped. When we get to $153 per pupil, then the people of Algona won't have to pay any more, and the state aid will cover it. So that's a property tax relief. That's part of the school funding.
$153
per pupil.
per.
So that 153 multiplied by our certified number, that total dollar, when that additional levy gets to that amount, then it's frozen, and the rest is covered by state aid. So that's a property tax relief. Otherwise, if you didn't have that in place, we would cover that whole additional 12.5%. It also prohibits the budget guarantee amount from being funded by property taxes. Again, next year, Algona Schools is on a budget guarantee, so we're on a 101% of our cost per pupil this year. Typically, that budget guarantee, that 1%, is funded by property taxes. That won't happen. Now that's going to be funded by the state, which saves us about 7 cents, something like that, per thousand. So again, good property tax relief. It also includes provisions that are contingent upon an appropriation to give support personnel supplement. That's something that's happened the last 2 years, where they provide us with one-time money that we've used for some of our hourly people. So that's a great thing. We get our proportional share of $7 million. So it's not a lot of money, but any money I think is good for those people. Something that's new, we're not exactly for sure how this works, but we'll see, is there will be 2 certified enrollment counts. We have a certified enrollment count on October 1st right now. That sets our budget for the next year. We will also have one on January 15th, and they'll take an average. So you could increase. You could have more students in January 15th. That'd be great. You could be less also, and they'll take an average of those two to create your certified enrollment count that you use for your budgeting process. We looked at our enrollment last year at this time as well, so the principals provided this information for us. So again, we have 4 more kids in our statewide voluntary preschool in April than we did in October. Our prep is the same. Kindergarten, we have 3 more. First is 5 more. You can kind of go through there. In total, we have 12 more students in April than we had in October. Last year, we graduated 123 students, and then we had kindergarten come in at 96. So right away, we were almost 30 kids down to start, and that's how our certified budget worked. You know, our numbers look different this year, where we have 107, and we're going to bring in, we don't know our kindergarten number exactly because it's a combination of 4-year-old and prep, but it'll be closer to 100. And with increase of 12, you know, you would say that, you know, we're closer to even, way closer than we were last year anyway. So that's good. Just preliminary numbers of looking at what we do know. It doesn't look like we'll have a decline of 25 kids like we did last year. So that's good for budget purposes as well.
So seniors graduating early could hurt us if they did, for the January 15th count?
Yeah, but they would stay on in a seminar.
There's still our enrollment. One of the codes in attendance provides for students who have met all requirements.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, no, they won't hurt us. They still graduate in May officially, even if they're done with their requirements in our building.
Good. All right. Any other questions for Joe and his report? All right, hearing none, we'll move on then. Administrative reports, we have Jared here tonight to talk with us.
Also have a couple things tonight. The first one is our district career and academic plan. And then at the high school, the ICAP, which is the individual one, that's for the students. So our DCAP plan, it's obviously heavier at the high school as kids are getting ready for the next phase of life. But it does include, for the district plan, it does include some representation from middle school and elementary and some of those connections. There's 5 components for every student, and then for our plan. The first one's self-understanding. We do some things, we use advisory time to meet on those, but we do some things with some self-assessments, some interest inventories, get the kids to talk about things that they might have a passion for after high school. The second one is career information. So they take, here are my interest areas, and then here are careers and what interests might connect those. We pair those up with them a little bit, and then they start in on some career exploration. So we, again, activity-based in advisories, they're looking at just that exploration. What's the demand for that job right now? What's the training or what's the schooling take for that job? What's the salary for that job? What are the benefits for that job? And just look at some of those options in my own advisory. I know I asked a kid the other day, I said, I thought you wanted to be an underwater welder. He said, that's what I wanted to be as a freshman, but I've studied that a little more. I don't want that job anymore. I said, okay, I'm glad we had that conversation. The fourth component is post-secondary exploration. And again, that is not college exploration. That is what training does it take to do the job you want to do. So that's all over the board, from a 2-week training on this to be OSHA certified or get your CDL, to obviously traditional bachelor's degree, master's degree, doctorates, but exploring plenty of those. And then the last step is the career and post-secondary decision. So really what interests you, what career might line up, what is a decision at the end of that road. Some things specifically that we tie into it. Sophomores go to a career fair. That was at Iowa Lakes just last week. About 5 or 6 breakout sessions and probably 8 to 10 varying careers within a room. So one of the rooms might have had cosmetology next to law enforcement, next to insurance. And so kids go around and pick up They pick up candy and pens, but they also pick up some info, hopefully, while they're there. We have our college fair that we host here in the high school gym. Their academic planning, as it is based on some potential career options. And some of them get worried that changes every time we re-inventory or they look at it, or somebody else talked about this. And I guess my assurance is that's pretty normal that can change. Zello is the product that we use. So if you ever hear that term Zello, or it comes through in your bills on a board meeting, Zello is the package where it houses plenty of the activities, but it's also now housing some of the reflection that it houses their interest inventories, and it does a lot of the connecting for us. You have an interest in this part of the country maybe, and you're hands-on, and you're looking for limited training after school. And then it says, check out these 20 careers, and they're usually in career clusters, so it's not, it doesn't prescribe you, well, you're doing this job. And kids look at them, and they can read a little more, and they like parts of them, and they say, oh, that's not for me. So the product is pretty good. Like anything else, it's got its limitations, but it's a good spot for us to house those things in there. Also with it, every student's building their own portfolio, so they all have, by grade level, they have an About Me folder. And so each time we do a lesson, there's a reflection piece at the end of every lesson, and they take that information and reflection and pump it into this portfolio. Oftentimes in advisories, everybody will share from their last lesson, or we might have a different grade each time go through, take us from beginning to end this year, where you've been. And so they put in some pictures to connect to it. And some are obviously hit and miss, like anything else what the kids put in is what they get out of it. But I've seen plenty of those that is starting to tell the story. It's not quite as much a random, what are you doing next year? And they're like, well, I'm going here for what? I have no idea. Some are still in that boat, and that's fine, but some at least can put some words to, well, I kind of have an interest in this area, or I want to do something in this field. And so that's been a pretty good thing over the last few years to keep it in that Zello program, so it connects it together. Probably two of the biggest things is we want to talk about the focal points for next year, where we're headed. One of the items, there is a parent component to the Zello product, so we got a little bit of exploration in that right now, but want to include that so that as parents we can pump out today in advisory. We went through this lesson. Your son or daughter's results are in Zello, so log in and see what interests match to what careers to increase those conversations at home. Again, there's a lot of connecting pieces within advisory, but like all teenagers, sometimes that makes it home, sometimes it doesn't make it home. So including the parent link within Zello is one of our priorities for next year. And the other one is our increase in work-based learning. And I've talked about this a little bit before, but really trying to increase, as part of my goals when I meet with Mr. Carter, I'm trying to increase our simulated work experience classes within the school. And we have 5 or 6 of those, I think, slated for next year, and then trying to increase our internships. We've changed how we do internships. Used to be locked into 1 quarter of the time, and this year we were at 2 of the quarters. Next year, students can sign up for internships at any term and have those. Both internships and the simulated work experience. I'll be back to you, I think, in August to ask you about adding that as a graduation requirement for beginning with the class of 2028, so that we can put it in front of our juniors at the beginning of the next school year. That within the next 2 years, you're taking one of these classes anywhere in your high school career, or completing an internship. And we're working to build that internship process. Brian Connick has been helping with that the past few years. That was kind of when it was a standalone class. But we've also worked with Rachel Holm at Iowa Lakes in partnership with them, and working with a couple staff here to help work that process of internships going forward. The kids who have been in internships, we've had great experiences. both ways. Because some have come back and said, I will never do that job. I said, good, you didn't go to school for that job, you didn't start a career in that job, great. Others have come back and said, I know what I want to do. So they're looking forward to looking at colleges that are specific to that program. So we don't have near as many kids in it as I want to. Obviously, priorities change if it can become a graduation requirement in a way, and some of the other things we do, they certainly want 100% of our kids to have had some sort of real life experience in the work-based learning field. So I'll be back in August for that request. Questions or comments on our direction or the stuff we're doing in ICAP or DCAP?
Thanks for the update there.
Sounds good.
Absolutely. Our next one are seniors. First copy had them all on the front only, but I've graduated to readers, so respect the rest who are there also. So they're front and back. Mr. Carter showed the numbers. I think we were 107 in the fall. I think we're 108 in the most recent count. There's 108 students on our list that we're hopeful will have diplomas in their hands in May. So some in the building, some that are in our alternative program, some that are finishing up at fifth-year programs, like the SAFE program or something like that, where they'd be receiving their diploma now. So a couple names on that list, if you've seen them before, maybe across the stage, they might be in a fifth-year program where they'd actually graduate from us now and receive a diploma. So pending they complete all of their items in fourth term and remain in good standing, I look for some support to sign 108 diplomas.
We need a motion then to approve these, right? I
Yes.
believe we do.
Yes, please.
So moved?
Thanks, Andrea. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Todd. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Graduating class approved.
All
Good
right,
luck.
very good.
Yeah.
Normally at this time I ask who's going to be on the stage, but that sounds like it was a
I think you might have heard the conversation.
pre-conference conversation.
Yeah.
Those that aren't on the stage, we welcome you and invite you to come and join our faculty. They come in, as you know, before the ceremony starts. We'll reserve a spot. We meet in the library 15, 20 minutes before that, and all walk in together. So if you're not on the stage and still want a good seat in the house, you're welcome to. And if that's not in your world, that's certainly fine also. Appreciate those that are able to make it on.
Do we need to let you know or just show up that day?
Yeah, let us know. Maybe by next board meeting,
Okay.
we'll get a tally number.
All right. Sounds great.
Andrea, everyone will be on stage.
Related but unrelated question my kids were talking about, just the number of kids that graduated or met the requirements at semester for graduation, and that maybe that's changing in the future. Is that like more credits are going to be required to graduate?
Over the past, I think next year's are most required. Over the past 4 years, we graduated that in. So if it's changing, it's not a new change in this world, it's a
But
change.
like, for instance, the sophomore class currently is going to require more credits to graduate than current senior class. Is that
Passed that last year.
Yep, I think there's one more year of whatever our phasing schedule was. So I think next year's number for seniors is the same moving forward. But yes, I feel like it's about 2 credits more next year than it was this year.
There's been some change in maybe offerings and orders that, it's not real easy to graduate early. It has to be something that you're trying to do.
You fill it for 4 terms and take a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does, if somebody graduates mid-year, does that affect our funding too?
No. Nope.
If they start the year, we get funding for
Correct.
Because they graduate in.
They graduate in May.
They graduate in
They've met
May.
all requirements, which is one of the attendance
Yep.
things.
One of the exempt attendance codes is all requirements. So there are students that graduate in May, they're exempt from days where you met everything, you don't have to take any more.
All right, any other questions for Jared?
I was gonna say, the civics test is
Well,
coming.
so if you heard your kids talking, I mean, there's the civics test required, I mean, they don't need any more
Well,
requirements.
no,
for school.
Emmy's a sophomore, Niall's a senior.
Yeah.
Emmy was just, and they were just saying how, Emmy was like, my class is gonna have more required, like, credits.
She
will have more credits, yeah.
There is a change coming in where the personal finance credit's gonna come from. So not a change in the number of credits to graduate. One of their electives has to come from the social studies field. And I think they have about 19 electives to get. So that would be accurate. As you said sophomore, I'm like, that would be accurate in the sophomore world is likely, but it's not a change of number of requirements. I think we looked when we were making that, and a very low percentage of kids that graduate from here and don't have an elective in social studies. So that was able to shift and slide, meet our teaching capacity.
All right, any other questions? Thank you very much, Mr. Cecil.
Thank you.
Very good,
Thank
thank
you.
you guys.
All right, we'll continue moving on. I don't see anything under old business, so we'll go on to the new business.
Yep.
Right, yep, yeah, first reading of board policy.
First reading board policies, a number of things from the 400 series. Just a first read tonight, but there are some wording changes, no changes in policy. The first is in board policy 4014, employee complaints, just some IASB changes that are recommended that we would adopt. Also in board policy 40112, employee use of cell phones, updated language to align with our current practices. Board policy 4031 involving employee physical examinations, change the reimbursement rate for all employees except bus drivers. Bus drivers are reimbursed at the full cost. Also some updated language for the process, calling EMC, on-call nurse. And in board policy 4035, substance-free workplace, there's some updated language as well. So first reading for those, second reading next month.
On the communicable diseases, the rescind, what are,
Yes. Yeah, so that 40303, yeah, I put some stuff in the budget, or in the memo about that. It's not a mandatory policy, and actually, actual practice hadn't involved what was in that policy in some time, as far as having the hepatitis B vaccine as part of your initial employment, which isn't a typical practice anymore. So we're just aligning our policies with typical practice and recommended practice by rescinding that board policy.
Any other
It was
comments?
required and now it's not required.
It is not required now, right?
That's strange that, why was it ever required?
I don't know if it was required or if it was just common maybe for board policy to include it. It has not been typical practice in schools in a really long time, and that policy just wasn't updated to reflect that. So just updating policy to reflect.
Sure, no, that's why I'm just curious. I mean, healthcare makes sense, but
Yeah,
classroom work, it doesn't
right.
really make a whole lot of sense, but.
All right, please look those over. We'll go look to approve those next month. Move on to approve the FY27 budget.
Yep, so FY27 budget, we had the public hearing at the beginning to reflect some of that. The budget has been presented on two dates, at our March 23rd as well as April 23rd. Also at the March board meeting, we went through all of the factors that influence the certified budgeting process and influence our budget. The tax rate for FY27 is proposed at $10.21 per thousand. Again, that's that blended rate that takes place between the former Titanca and the former Algona and Laverne district. No one will actually have a 1021 rate. The people of The former Algona and Laverne will have a 10.09 rate, and the people of the former Titanca will have a 11.22 rate. Also a reminder, their rate is different, as they had a general obligation bond when the two districts reorganized in 2015, and part of that agreement was those people would continue to pay that debt, which expires in 2027. So we are nearing the end of that debt. There's two things that we'll certify and approve tonight. The first thing that we'll do is we're informing the public of the maximum that we can spend from July 1st coming up to June 30th the next year. And that is in the areas of instruction, total support services, non-instructional programs, total other, and then total. So a total expenditure of $30,377,949. Now, if at any time next year we think we're going to go over in any of those areas, that's when we come back and we might have to amend, like we'll do tonight for the FY26 budget. So that's that process and how that worked. The second thing that we certify tonight is informing the public of the property tax rate, which is that, again, 1021 is the blended rate. The rates that people will have are 1009 if you live in the former Algona or the former Laverne School District, and then you add $1.18 to that for Titanca only for that $10 or $11.22. So the total expenditures and those tax rates are what we are approving tonight. We talked about through that process, there are some increases in our tax rate from our uniform levy is going up 8 cents. Our uniform levy was reduced as part of reorganization. That's one of the incentives that the state of Iowa provides. When that uniform levy goes back up, that increases it's a property tax increase, but not the dollars that we get, as our state aid then decreases. The other increase is in cash reserve for special education debt, as the funding for special education continues to fall behind the cost to provide support for those students.
I know we went over this a few times over the last couple of months, so any other questions or comments?
Every time we go over it, I'm kind of just like, oh yeah, that's what we're doing, but every time we've gone over it.
You learn something.
It's obvious what needs to be done, so, it's just, if somebody comes and asks me, what are you doing, I'll be like, well, I'll get back to you, it's special ed deficit
And that uniform levy,
Yeah,
the increase is from in the 990s to 1009. That puts us in the bottom 10% of the state. Prior to reorganization, our rate was 1060. So we're still 50 cents less than we were at that time. So I think the district has worked hard to keep that rate low, which is really important to us, and has been able to do that effectively.
Keep it as low as we can.
Can you
Not to
explain?
con- Go ahead.
Can you explain why the special ed deficit is so
Yep.
awful?
Yeah. There's 3 weightings for a special education student. There's a 1.74, which would mean you'd get that $8,100 plus 0.74. There's a 2.21 and a 3.74, and that weighting is based upon the support they need, what they need when they're here to be successful. Those weightings aren't enough to actually pay for those types of expenses.
And the state's in charge of those?
They set those
percentages.
weightings, yeah.
And the last time those were raised were?
Oh, boy. I'm going to throw out 25 years, but it could be longer than that. I just know it hasn't been in those 25 years. And now we've created a scenario of how do we fix this, because it costs so much to haven't had to ask for as much cash over the last 3 years because of the reorganization. And when we had more dollars, and when we didn't need it, we didn't ask for it. Now the reorganization will come to an end. We need those dollars.
Do you have a question, Andrew?
Well, I just gotta point out too, and not to confuse things, because I know our rates are changing because of the whole Laverne situation, but if I'm not mistaken, Joe, we're approving, $2 million less in expenditures this year than we certified for last year, so I mean, we're trying to keep
We are.
the spending under control.
You know, our teacher expense next year will be over 800,000 less than it is this year. There'll be some adjustments in expenses next year, not near at that level, but that certainly will take place. Our general supplies across the district, we reduced 10%-ish, maybe a little less than that this year. That's why you see some of that expenses changing. So there's things we're doing to adjust our budget as well, and as needed, and we'll continue to. I think we've been very responsible in doing that.
All right, all good. Questions and comments? At this point then, we need a motion to approve the FY '27 budget.
So moved.
Thanks, Todd. Do we have a second? Thanks, Brent. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Budget approved. We'll look to approve the 26 budget amendment.
Yes, you know, so we just talked about, we just approved the maximums that we can spend for next year. If you are going to spend more in any of those 5 areas, then you have to approve a budget amendment during that next year, and that's what we need to do here. We need to, let's see, it's this document right here, where we have an increase in insurance claims, so we need to increase the total support services, also the total other expenditures, and that's just the expense of the field house, where that was spent. So we need to increase our maximums in those 2 areas.
Motion to approve the amendment to the FY '26 budget.
Thanks, Andrew. Do we have a second?
Second the motion.
Thanks, Don. We have a motion and a second. They did require a resolution, right?
No, I think that's the next
That's the
one.
next one, okay. All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? A budget amendment approved. Going into the approved budget guarantee for next year.
Yeah, the district, we're currently in a budget guarantee, and that's what the best practice is. In the spring of the prior year, you approve a resolution that will allow you to be in the budget guarantee in case you would have declining enrollment like we did, and you need that 101%. Otherwise, you wouldn't have that, and you'd be left with less money the following year than what you had previously, and that could really hurt yourselves in your budget. We're currently on the budget guarantee, and it is the procedure annually to approve, and the district qualifies, then you'll have it. If you don't qualify, then you don't. So this is a resolution by the Board of Directors of Algona, and the reason that you have to do this is because a budget guarantee comes from property taxes. Now, our budget guarantee for next year isn't going to, because in the school funding bill, they decided to do something else. Maybe they will again. That's becoming maybe a trend. But that's why it has to be a resolution to approve the budget guarantee.
So we need to read this like it's listed here?
Yeah, those 2 resolved areas that
I
are
don't know why there's double
Just
instead
one
of
of
the
them,
second
right?
one with the 26, 27.
Sure.
So we need a motion or a resolution then, or somebody to read that so we
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
approve the budget guarantee. Who wants to read it?
No, just the bottom.
Just the bottom.
Just do that.
Okay, so resolve, make a motion, resolve that the Board of Directors of Algona Community School District will levy property taxes for fiscal year 2027 for the regular program budget adjustment as allowed under section 257.14 Code of Iowa.
Perfect.
Just so fiscal years, and you said 27, but it does say 26.
26, 27.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Jay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, does this need a roll call? Go ahead, Lisa.
Tom Nugent.
Yes?
Jay Limbo.
Yes.
Rodney Davis.
Yes.
Todd Luwachi.
Yes.
Laney Mitchell.
Yes.
Dr. Owen.
Yes.
Andrea Lusher.
Yes.
All right, motion has been approved. Our budget guarantee, sorry. look to go into the Algona Association of Educators tentative agreement.
So initial proposals were exchanged and agreed upon between the district and the Algona Teacher Association. The settlement is that $1,000 will be added to the section 3.1 base wages, which are listed on the table. So the hiring would be $51,000, and then it changes with educational levels. $1,000 will also be added to the extra duty base wage contained in attachment 1, the extra duty pay schedule. So that will change from $40,765 to $41,000. That's a generator amount. So our supplemental contracts for teachers and sponsors are percentages of that amount. So that increases so that those contracts increase also. The third is a $1,300 increase for all teachers, and the fourth is a $300 stipend for any teacher who returns their contract in 1 week. That's a 2% salary increase. Our total package with insurance is 3.1%.
Do all, so just for example, MA plus 20,
Yep.
that's just the hiring amount, that doesn't mean that
Yeah.
every MA plus 20.
That would be the lowest. That would be the minimum someone with an MA 20 would make.
That doesn't mean that everybody's making the same money that has an MA plus 20,
No,
right?
no.
Like if somebody's been in the district
Longer.
years,
Yeah.
and somebody who's just getting hired, the person that's been here 30 years
Would make
probably
more.
is making more because of.
Yep. Yeah, we try to find like employees, like experience is how we try to do it in the district. When we hire an outside person. If we're hiring a first year person, they get hired at these minimums. If we're hiring someone who's coming with 8 years experience, we would try to match them up with someone in our district with 8 years experience. That's an unexact science, but that's the practice that we try to use.
All right, any other questions? Hearing now, we need a motion then to approve the Algona teacher educator. So moved. Thanks, Todd. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Andrea. Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Agreement approved. We'll look to approve the next agreement, the Educational Services Association agreement.
This is a proposal with the, as Robbie said, the Algona Educational Service Association for our teacher associates, which includes a 32-cent per hour increase for all teacher associates. That's a 2% increase, also aligned with the teachers. The agreement also includes a 25-cent increase for transportation supervision, which has not been increased in a number of years. This is a 2% salary increase, a 4.1% total package with the insurance increase.
Transportation supervisor like an aide that rides
Yes.
here?
Yeah, their rate is different.
Okay.
It would be going from 16 to 16.25. Is that, am I right with that rate? Yeah.
What is our starting wage for associates?
$14.50. We've raised that a lot. You know, I think he still needs to. In this year where we're not able to give as much, the association certainly agreed with you keeping it at the same place. That keeps a little separation. Yeah.
It was, was it 2 years ago, 11 hours?
Yeah, we've done a lot to it in recent years. And insurance, which is close to $10 an hour.
I like an adult on the bus. It's not perfect, but it does help.
It does help, for sure. We're very thankful for those who do that.
All right, we need a motion then to approve the Educational Services Association agreement.
So moved.
Thanks.
I'll second that.
Jay, we got a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Agreement approved. Looking at all other wages for staff not covered.
Yeah, all other, try to list some of those out so you do know who we're talking about, but I would recommend a 2% salary increase for all other employees, which includes Lisa Chapman, Jed Freeberg, Tyler Lighting, Nick Lane, Jeff Gish, Jill Nelson, all custodians, all food service employees, which we have 2 left that work for us, the rest work for Topper. All bus drivers and all secretaries and employees on the Mitchell system, which is Danelle Van Gorkum, Stephanie Keeker, Megan Tuttle, Aaron Keeker, Vicki Steenhook, Maria Bradley, Laura Stevenson, LaKay Schucher, Karen Sankey, and Liz Bradley. 2% does align with the teacher's salary increase. Building principals and administration, Jared Cecil, James Roder, Rudy Week, Jill Schucher, Brad Sudel, and Janie Eischen. I would recommend a 1.75% increase.
Any discussions or questions? Hearing none, we need a motion for approval.
Make a motion to approve the 2% increase. Motion to approve as recommended.
All right, now, thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Todd. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Master contracts for all wages, staff not covered, approved. Looks like approve a bus bid.
Nick Lane, our transportation director, has requested bids for a new school bus, 84 passenger. Nick also goes into to describe in here, but I had him look at, other options, smaller buses. Purchasing an 84 passenger rather than a 74 is like a $2,000 difference in this case. So it does create less flexibility if we have the smaller bus. So for that amount, the 84 makes the most sense. He did request this bid for the 84 passenger to have 78 seats, so there's more space in the seats, which is really good for our older kids. The Bluebird sales, 202,000. Truck Center sales, 195. That doesn't meet our specifications, and Hogland is not producing this bus for like this at this time, so no bid was sent. So Nick does recommend purchasing the 84 passenger body seated for 78 for Bluebird sales for 202,000 for the 2026 school year. This bus is purchased with Pebble funds that would be purchased in the next year's Pebble funds, and it's budgeted to be that way.
Are there any other options out there, or is Bluebird kind of have the?
Well, we talked about that. There are. Truck Center sales, those are Thomas buses. The problem would be, we got a fleet of 20 buses that are Bluebird. And we just probably are more comfortable with those and feel that is the best one for us at this time. So I asked Nick to probably look into this a lot more, to look at types of buses, size of buses. We're spending a lot of money, and we've already decided $200,000 a year isn't something we're gonna always be able to do. If it's 2 out of 3 or 2 out of 4 or whatever, is gonna be more likely what we're gonna do. But through his research,
It would be nice to have, I think, 2 bids that meet the specifications, just at least to be able to.
yeah.
We're moving a lot of kids a lot of miles.
We are.
I hope that someone from Bluebird comes to the job fair, because I think everybody should just go work for them. Seems like a pretty decent gig.
Yeah. They're expensive, they're really expensive, and they've went up so much in the 7 years I've been here. It's just crazy.
All right, we do have a recommendation in front of us for a bus bid. I need a motion for approval.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Thanks, Amy. Do we have a second? Thank you, Grant. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Bus bid approved. Look to approve the FY25 audit.
Yep, so you got some of that information in front of you. The audit looks really, really good. A couple findings. One, certified enrollment, it was overstated, so what that means is we had 2.9 students that we counted that didn't go to school here. That happens as there's movement in kids before the count date stuff, so then it's just reversed out. Secondly, deposits and investments. The district adopted the depository resolution, and it was updated which means we can have X amount of dollars at a certain bank, but we went over it, and this involves the field house also. And we then updated our resolution, but it was after we had went over how much money we had in the bank. Other than that, there are no other findings. Audit looks good. Lisa and her crew is doing a great job. We're thankful for that.
Nice job.
Very good.
And we appreciate all the numbers each month too, all the work to that, so. Need a motion then to approve the FY '25 audit.
So moved.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Audit approved. Approve the Relay Hub LLC agreement.
Timberline is the company that we've used to process Medicaid reimbursement in the past. Timberline has been bought by Relay Hub. So this is just our agreement with the new company. The cost is 6% of the receipts. That's what it always is. So we recommend the approval of Relay Hub for processing Medicaid.
Medicaid for
Students, special education students on Medicaid, there's some reimbursement for that, some dollars that we get in specialized transportation, specialized health, behavior plans, there's Medicaid reimbursement for those students.
Just out of curiosity, if we didn't do this Medicaid, what would our special ed deficit be?
Well, we're bringing in about 70,000 from this.
Oh, okay.
We can probably, we're trying to work again, making sure that all of them are eligible.
So they take, that's like $4,200.
It's not a lot in comparison to.
Yeah, is the 70 after the 6% or before?
I think that's money for Medicare. And that's just an estimate.
Any other questions? All right, we need a motion then to approve the Relay Hub LLC agreement.
Relay Hub LLC.
Thanks, Frank. Do we have a second?
Second the motion.
Thanks, Tom. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Relay Hub agreement approved. Open enrollment?
We have 3 open enrollments that have all met the application and have been filed timely.
Make a motion to approve the open enrollment.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second?
Thank you. Andrea? Any discussion?
Question.
Yep.
Did you express concern about the no deadline for, did they close that loophole?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be the same for all students.
Okay.
Which is a good change. That's the change I think we all wanted. Was just that the deadline was the same whether you were open enrolled to online or to a physical district. So I think that change will happen.
Okay, good.
And then if they don't meet the deadline, we can
You cannot approve that.
not approve. Okay, that's what,
Okay.
okay.
All right, any further discussions or questions? Hearing none then, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Open enrollment's approved. What's my next one to look at? Approved resignations.
We have Molly Henderson, middle school quiz bowl, Amy Schlenger from high school teacher associate, Seth Schlenger, bus driver and assistant football coach, Trevor Arnold, freshman boys basketball, Abby Diedering, third grade teacher, Carla Kenny, Bertha Godfrey, teacher associate, is retiring after 28 years in the district, so,
Good for her.
yeah, good for her. And Brian Morgan, co-head wrestling coach.
So moved.
Thanks, Jay. Do we have a second?
Any of these
Brent?
pending as a replacement or?
No, he was sharing a contract that
Okay.
just won't be shared.
Okay, I was just, like, the freshman.
Oh, yeah, yes, yeah. Yeah, let's see, Trevor's will be pending suit, so will Molly's. Yes, those two will both be pending suit here. Thank you.
Good update there. All right, we do have a motion in a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resignations approved. Look at contracts.
We have 3, Steph Metz, volunteer girls golf coach, Billy Offerman for middle school softball, and Maddie Schultz, third grade teacher, who comes to us from
Wes Smith. She lives in town. Her daughter will go to school at Brigham Joffrey next year, so we're excited to have Sheds.
Yes. All right, need a motion for approval.
So moved.
Thanks, Don, do you have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Andrea, motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion, contract's approved. I think we're at that magical hour to say, at this point, we need a motion for adjournment. Thank you, and
Second.
all right, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Hopefully you get home before you get wet, the rain gone.